All right, multiplying fractions, quick mini lesson, here we go. So when would you have to multiply fractions in real life? Well, it's when you have a part of something and you are splitting that into even more parts. So for example, if I say something like, I have 3/4 of this candy bar, so 1, 2, 3 sections out of 4 of the candy bar, I have 3/4 of the candy bar and I need to divide it in half to give half of it to each of my two kids. Okay, so to do that, if I have 3/4 of that candy bar, I'm going to take that and I'm really going to split it in half. And then that way, Maddie's going to get part of it and Lannon's going to get part of it. When I do that, okay, if you look at just the part that Landon's going to get, he's going to get 3 pieces out of what would have been a total of 8. So half of 3/4 is 3/8. Okay, and then remember, in math, of is really just another word for times. So half of 3/4 is 3/8, which means half times 3/4 is 3/8. So then if I come over here and I say, okay, well now I have 5/8 of a candy bar. So here's my 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of a total of 8. And I need to split those up between my two kids and me, because I want some too. So I have 5/8 of the candy bar, and I'm going to split that up so that I get part of it, and then Maddie will get part of it, and Landon will get part of it. So when I do that, I would really be getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 24. So 1/3 of 5/8 would be 5/24. Again, that of just means times. Now, I remember teaching this in my math group, and in my math group I had a few students who looked at me and said, well, holy cow, Mrs. Uren, that means when you're multiplying fractions, you're really just multiplying the numerators and multiplying the denominators. You are, okay? And that's why we love multiplying fractions, but this is why that works. So if we simply come down here and we do 2/5 times 1/12, we are just gonna do 2 times 1 is 2, 5 times 12, eek, I'm gonna have to work that out. So it's 12 times 5, I've gotta go over to my side paper. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 1 is 5 plus another one, so that's going to be 2/60. Okay, and then ideally I would want to simplify, and I can divide both those by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, 60 divided by 2 is 30. So that would be 1/30 for this one. Okay, now again, the reason I want you to know this is because I want you to understand when you would really use this. So if you were saying you only have 1/12 of a bag of potato chips, okay, and you need to split it into 2/5, like maybe you're going to split it into fifths and you get 2 sections and then your friends get the rest. Okay, so 2/5 of 1/12 is going to be 1/30 of that whole original bag. Okay, lastly, I know it gets kind of smushed, 1/4 times 7/8. So again, 1 times 7 is 7, 4 times 8 is 32. And in this case, we can't simplify, so 7/32 is 7/32 is going to be your final answer. Now that's when we have 2 fractions, and we seem to be doing great with that. It's just one of those things we have to remember. Adding and subtracting common denominators, multiplying, we don't need those common denominators. So the only other factor here is sometimes we have things like this, 2/3 times 21. Well, wait a minute, Mrs. Uren, what do we do because this isn't a fraction? Well, in my math group, I said, remember, it really is, because you can think about it as 21/1. Okay, so that's really the same. So we're going to solve it the same exact way. 2 times 21 is 42 over 3 times 1 is 3. Now, this is where that comes in, knowing how to switch this out of an improper fraction, because we don't want that bigger number on top. So I have to think, how many times does 3 fit into 42? Well, that's tricky, okay? So I'm going to actually come over here, and I'm going to say 3 fits into 42. I'm going to do the long division. 3 fits into 4 one time. 3 times 1 is 3. I subtract and I get 1, bring down my 2. 3 fits into 12 4 times. So 3 fits into 42 14 times. So that means if I did 3 times 14, I would get 42. So my answer here is 14. And then same here, if I do 3 tenths times 12, wait, there's not a fraction. Yes, there is. We're just going to put a 1 underneath. Make sure the 1 goes underneath, not on top, because 12 over 1 is still 12. That's 12 divided by 1. That's still 12. So 3 times 12 is 36. Over 10 times 1 is 10. And then again, we can't leave that because that's improper. Our big number's on top and we don't want that. So 10 fits into 36 3 times because 10, 20, 30. And then I would have 6 tenths left over. And then I hope somebody's out there saying, eek, we got to simplify that. Okay, so I can divide both of those by 2. And I would get 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So 3 3/5 would be my answer. Okay, so let's click the next video and try some of these on your own.